A young brand, a new watch and experience stuff. This is how I kicked off my part 1 of the Vandaag video series, and today I'm going to show you a full review of the new watch, the Vandaag Schallmauer Automatik. Interesting? Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Watch Maxie's Watch Videos. My name is Axel and I'm glad to have you on the show. This is my last video for a very long time, if not forever, on my English channel, so enjoy the video. It's a full-fledged review of the Vandaag Schallmauer Automatik. Vandaag is a young brand from the north of Germany, and the guys behind Vandaag come from the watch industry with a long experience in assembling watches for other brands, and they decided to create their own brand, their own watch, and this is what Vandaag is about. I like boxes which are not too big, and that's a watch box which is just in the range I think it's suitable. Here we have some nice greeting words from one of the CEOs, meaning enjoy the watch, which means enjoy the watch for taking the footage. It doesn't mean I can keep the watch, I'll send it back and I buy my own when the Kickstarter campaign starts, but I'll come to that later in the video. This is the box. It's a wooden box with a push button mechanism, really nicely done, high quality, and the blue shiver on the front of the watch comes from the AR coating. The dial is a black dial with silver counters and old radium filled markers and hands. Let me just remove the mechanism to keep the strap in place, and the clasp just fits the shape and form of the horns, which I'm going to show you later in the video. And that's the Vandaag Schallmauer Automatik, a watch which really caught me. I love it. And there are 4 different models which will be released on March 8th as a Kickstarter campaign. I'll show you later in the video footages and photos of the 4 variants. First, let's have a look at the watch case and the watch in total. You can see the rotor is a black rotor, so that's a special rotor for Vandaag. It doesn't turn because the rotor is fixed. Sometimes you do that for presentation watches. However, the movement runs. I'll show you later in the video how the stop mechanism works and the second hand runs. So it's a working movement, but the rotor is fixed for presentation purposes. Having said that, the watch is a presentation watch, which means it may have signs of wear and little dent here, little dent there. Once you get a watch, it will be completely proper. The watch has a diameter of 42.5 millimeter, a lug span of 22 millimeter, and a lug to lug width of 50 millimeter. The thickness is 15 millimeter without the sapphire crystal and 16.3 with the sapphire crystal. We have a Sellita SW510 BHA in the Elaborate version, and as you can see here, the movement is running while the rotor is fixed. You have a quick change strap system here, and we have a water resistance of 100 meter, double curved sapphire crystal, and a ceramic bezel filled with old radium color, and you have minute markers which are visible but which do not disturb the clean look of the watch overall. I really do like that. The Arabic numbers and the hands are filled with old radium lume, which works really well. I'm going to show that in a lume shot later in the video. And the date window is a signature feature of Vandaag. It's a red date wheel with white typos, white numbers on it. I really like it, particularly since it perfectly matches with the red tip of the stop second hand. So really well-made watch. And let's see how this watch with a diameter of 42.5 millimeter sits on my 17 centimeter wrist, 17 centimeter or 6 3/4 of an inch. On the left hand side you can see the Zin 756 with 40 millimeter, which is significantly smaller. However, the Vandaag sits nicely on my wrist, and I have to admit I really fell in love with the appearance of that watch, and the leather strap is pretty comfy. I really look forward to the overall package to come. A really nice watch, but while taking the video I identified so many nice spots and features which I haven't seen at a first glance. Like, for example, the old radium-filled hands, which makes it pretty easy to read the time, even when the white hands move over the white counters, or the red tip of the currently running stop second hand, which matches with the red date window. If you reset the stop second, it's perfectly aligned, jumps exactly to the 12 o'clock position. And let's see how the hands are set. If the hour and minute hand are set as perfect as the stop second hand is, the screw down crown is absolutely perfectly manufactured, easy to operate, clean, and big enough to easily grip it. Stop second at the 9 o'clock position, stopped at the 60. So now we can see how hour and minute hand are aligned. Let's move them to the 12 o'clock position, exactly on the 12 o'clock position, and see how the hands are set. Absolutely great. And again, that's a presentation watch. It's not a watch which runs through the quality assurance of watches which are delivered to customers. That's a prototype kind of watch to give you a first impression, and still it is absolutely perfectly set. So I really appreciate that, and that really creates and strengthens my trust into that company to get a really good and high quality watch, which I'm going to wear with joy over a longer period of time. I'm pretty sure about that. Let's have another deeper look into the watch, and let me add some points, because I received a presentation watch, which means the bezel turns only into one direction. The Sirius will have a bidirectional bezel. Currently it clicks, as I said, 120 clicks only in one direction. And let's see how the bezel is aligned. That seems to be a challenge sometimes, but I can say, same as the hour and minute hands, the alignment is perfectly on the 12 o'clock position, not even a friction of a millimeter to any side. Absolutely great and nicely done. What is an indicator of what I feel about the whole watch? It is absolutely well made. It is of high quality, not only talking about the components, but also about the manufacturer and the craftsmanship. Let's have a comparison to my Zin 756 about the thickness. I thought the 16.3 millimeter is a chunky piece of steel, but compared to the Zin, it isn't that big, and the horns, which are bent down to the wrist and sit not at the bottom side of the watch, but a little bit towards the top side of the watch, make the watch appear on the wrist a little bit slimmer, and I wear the Sinn 756 without any issue, so I think the Schallmauer won't be any issue as well, because it is a heavy watch, it is a big watch, it's a high watch, but it is by no means an uncomfortable watch on the wrist. Yeah, that's the Schallmauer. Let's have a closer look to the strap. I'm really convinced that the strap is of high quality, full stitching, and Vandaag labeled, really nice leather, soft, comfortable on the wrist. And the strap sample I received in the box with the watch, which I'm going to show you right after this footage I show you here. So it's really comfortable on the wrist, and here you can see the sample of the piece with the clasp which matches the horns. I'm going to show you towards end of the video how the horns are made and how the clasp matches. But before that, let's have a look at the watch at night. I'm going to activate the lume and then switch off the video lights and the second video light, and here we have the watch at night. Here you can see another point of the pre-series or presentation model, and that is a not completely covered triangle with lume. That's the presentation watch only. When you receive your watch as a series model, the triangle will be completely filmed and as bright as the rest of the watch. So if you see any faded lume here, please ignore it for the purpose of the presentation watch. What I really do like is that the hands of the hour and minute are extremely bright and good readable. And what I do appreciate is that the running second is filled with lume, as well as the hands of the chronograph, the tip of the chrono second and the minute counter at the 3 o'clock position are also filled with lume, so it can be used even in low light or no light conditions. I really trust that the watch will last, or the lume will last for a long time, and it's going to be readable throughout the night, even after a couple of hours in pitch darkness. I think it's going to be readable pretty well without glasses, and that's what I do appreciate and what I do look forward to. Okay, here we're back in daylight conditions. Yeah, absolutely nice and great watch. Would be really interested to read in the comments if you do know about Vandaag, if you probably own one, or if you want to join the Kickstarter campaign. But before that, let's have a look at the horns. As I mentioned, you see a certain grind here. You see a matte finish on the side. You see a polished edge on the horn, which goes over into another matte finish on the top of the horn. Absolutely great, and the pin buckle is done in the same way, so it's absolutely nice and it perfectly matches the watch. And there are a couple of things which I identified and noticed just on the second view. It's a watch which surprised me in many ways and at many occasions. I really do like it, and I look forward to the March 8th when the Kickstarter campaign starts. The Kickstarter campaign will sell the watch in different chunks. The first chunk will be 20 watches at €999, ending up with the last one at €1,399. And if during the Kickstarter campaign not all watches are sold, the standard retail price will be around €1,699. You've got 4 different versions, each of which is limited to 100 pieces. I showed you a picture of the 4. I do have a personal preference. I do have a watch which I'm going to bid for. Let me know in the comments what your favorite watch is. By the way, the different colors and different grinds you see on the case back as well. You see a polished middle ring, you see matte rings. It looks a bit like sharp edged, but it's extremely comfortable, not at all sharp. And I really appreciate watches which are beautiful on the front, which are beautiful on the back, and which surprise me over time. And the Vandaag Schallmauer exactly fits into that category. Yeah, that's the Vandaag Schallmauer. I hope I could show you a watch which is different from what you have seen before, a watch which is interesting and by no means expensive. On the other side, I think it's a real bargain price if you can start at the Kickstarter campaign at €999 for a automatic chronograph with sapphire crystal, Sedita SW510 and 100-meter water resistance. Absolutely great. I love it and I look forward to buying it. Thanks a lot for watching my video, although it was the last one for a long time. Stay safe, enjoy your watches. Cheers. Axel.